guys, Kelly here. I wanted to share with you today my June TBR and then kind of a little wrap up of what I did in May. So in May, I ended up reading a total of 18 books. It's only May 30th when I'm filming this, and I'm in the middle of 2 shorter books, so it could end up being 20 books by the end of tomorrow if I finish those 2 books. And if I look at like my TBR from the beginning of the month, I had put 12 books that I had some that I was like, if I can get to these sequels, I will. So I'm not gonna talk about those. But out of the 12 that I said I really want to finish these 12, I have finished 8 and I am halfway through 3 of them. So that's pretty good. So I might not finish all 3 of those that I'm halfway through, but at least should finish one of them. So I think that's pretty good. 9 out of 12 of the ones I said. For a mood reader, that's pretty good. So for June, I am not going to do like my normal crazy TBR. I'm going to keep it, I think I have 8 books to tell you about. I'm keeping it a little lower because we are moving in the month of June. We're closing on a house in the middle of the month, so there'll be some packing up on this end, there'll be unpacking there, and just all the closing stuff and getting the house ready. So there might not be a lot of time for physical reading. I probably will be getting a lot of audiobooks done though, and some of the ones I'll show you might, and even though I have physical copies, I might end up listening to if it works out that I can get the audiobook. The problem with me telling you which audiobooks I'm going to read is that I don't usually buy my audiobooks. I either get them from the library or on Scribd, and so Scribd, you only have a certain number of credits, and so I have to decide which ones I can't get from the library, so I listen to those on Scribd, and then I can't predict which ones will be available at my library. So I can't really tell you all of the audiobooks, so some of these could end up being audio, or I might just end up reading a whole bunch of other books that aren't these. But there are a few that I know, because they're buddy reads, that I will get to this month. So the first one is a book I'm halfway through. I am halfway through Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I am almost exactly at 50%, so I will definitely be finishing this. I mean, I don't think I'm going to finish it in the next 2 days because this one I'm reading really slowly, so I will finish this one in June. I'm not going to show you the other ones I'm in the middle of because I think I might be able to finish those, so there's no point in telling you because you're going to see them in recent reads very soon. And then I have, I think, 4 buddy reads that I am doing with a small group that I buddy read with often. I am reading I always say this one wrong, so I'm going to try to get it right. A Heart and a Body in the World. Is that the book? I'll put a picture of it here, by Deb Coletti. And this is a contemporary. I've heard it's really sad. I don't know a lot about it because every time people describe it, they always say we don't want to tell you much because it'll spoil it. So I've just heard it's excellent and that everybody cries when they read it. So I am going to be probably listening to this because they do have it on Scribd with a group of friends online, and then also with my bigger buddy read group, I'm going to be reading Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. I have this on my Kindle, so I'll be reading the ebook version of it. And this one is, I think, a sci-fi type of series that involves a girl that has a robot dog, maybe? I don't know. I haven't heard a lot, but because I loved Illuminae, I thought I would try it because I'm not loving Nevernight, but I thought that's kind of dark fantasy, and this is going back to sci-fi, which I liked in Illuminae, so that hopefully I will enjoy this Jay Kristoff a little better. We'll see. It's a buddy read. Check it out. And then I have ones that I'm buddy reading with just individual booktubers, and the first one is The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. This is a nonfiction book that combines both the World's Fair and 1893 in Chicago, and a serial killer that was attacking in Chicago. So it's combining both those elements. This has been around for a while and I've been meaning to read it, and so Alex from Alex Black was talking about her also wanting to read it, so I was like, let's buddy read it so I can make myself finally read this book, because I've owned it basically since it came out, which I think was maybe in early 2000s, yeah, 2003. So I've owned it for almost 20 years. I can't do math, it's not quite 20 years, but you know what I mean. And then the next one is The Lake House by Kate Morton, and I have been meaning to read something by Kate Morton. This is kind of a multi-generational, I think, book about a missing girl, but then it's 17 years later when the family is reopening the case or something like that. So I haven't fully looked into it, but I just know I've really wanted to read this author, and Tia from Tia and All the Books also wanted to read it, so we're going to buddy read it together. So those are my buddy reads. And then the only readathon that I think I'm going to participate in the month because of all the moving is I'm going to continue to do the Booktube Rereadathon, which is hosted by Alex Black, and this month the prompt is to reread something from a series. And so I think I'm going to continue with the study series by Maria V. Snyder. This is the second book, Magic Study. I did read this original trilogy a long time ago and just didn't remember much, so I had read Poison Study a few months ago. I think it was back in like November or something, and so I'm going to continue that, so that'll be a reread. I like it because this is a reread that I don't remember much about, so it'll feel like reading a whole brand new book, even though I have technically read this before. And then I got 2 books from the library, so they're not going to be top priority, but they're newer releases that I've been wanting to read, so I just picked them up, and if I can get to them, great. And one is something I probably will read on audiobook if I can get it, which is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've heard this is in kind of like an interview format, yeah. And it is about a fictitious band in like the 60s, 70s. I can't remember exactly, but everybody's raving about the audiobook. So I know they have it on Scribd, and if I have enough credits, I will probably read it, listen to it on Scribd, because I think on the library, I'm like the 103rd person waiting for 2 copies, so probably not going to get it from the library, so I'll probably have to listen to it on Scribd. But I got the physical copy because I kind of wanted to see how the format worked, and I'll just kind of give it back once I start the audiobook and kind of see how it works with that. When there's like a weird format in a book, sometimes I like to have the book while I'm reading the audio just to see how they did the book. It's just a more curiosity thing, so I probably won't keep it out very long. And the last one is Hope and Other Punchlines by Julie Buxbaum. I really enjoyed Tell Me 3 Things and What to Say Next by this author, but those were really like lighthearted, like not necessarily completely lighthearted. There was some like grief and stuff like that in there, but they were mostly like romantic storylines with some like little bit like bits of grief and stuff thrown in there, but not like I wouldn't call them hard hitting. But this one is actually revolves around September 11th, I believe. Like from what I can tell, this main character Abby was turning 1 year old on September 11th, and she was captured in a picture on her first birthday with like the Twin Towers in the background going down or getting hit or something like that. So she became like kind of a news phenomenon. And so then we are you know, later in life, and she's trying to kind of get away from that history. And so I don't really know a lot about it, but I think that both characters in this have been affected by September 11th, so this is definitely more hard-hitting than her past books. So not sure how I feel about that, because, you know, September 11th is not something you just play with lightly. It is, you know, a big tragedy in our history, and so I'm tentatively going into this hoping that she does it service and like focuses more on the people's feelings than like on anything beyond that, because it can be a very sensitive topic. So we'll see how I feel about this, if I can get to it. You know, this is one, since I think it's gonna be a heavier topic, it might not fit it into this month, but I saw it at the library and it's brand new release. Like I think this just came out, yeah, in May, so I thought I would try to see if I can pick it up. And that's it. Those are all the ones that I really want to get to in June. And like I said, I will throw in other audiobooks that I can get from the library or whatever to do while I am packing. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.